All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to give a special thanks to G the Great. Thanks again, my man, for another super thanks from you. I really appreciate it. And also from Angry Old Hoops. Thanks, my friend. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you liked my video. In this video here, talking about the 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers finals run. The thing that's made such a big deal about it. And I'm going to play some clips so you guys get the proper context. We've all heard it. LeBron carried bums. He did it all by himself. He could take anybody to the finals, which turns out was only true the 1 year against some pretty poor competition. Here's the context right here. This is Chris Broussard, Colin Cowherd talking. And then we got Non-Stop. Got a lot of views on it. I think it was like 800,000 views on this particular video, making the case that it was all LeBron and the rest of the people were just strict bums. He had to do all the heavy lifting, all the scoring, everything. Here you go.
LeBron doesn't need anything.
Well, I've always said that LeBron, even more than Michael, LeBron could take a lesser group of players and lift them higher. But LeBron's had trouble getting those teams over the hump. So let's not act like LeBron has just carried anybody to championships. He can carry anybody to deep playoff runs, occasionally the finals, but to win it, he's needed big-time help too.
Finally lifted Cleveland basketball back into relevancy, and everybody was looking for him to take the next step. But his supporting cast wasn't exactly championship caliber. Only one player on the Cavs roster at the time had been an all-star, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who had only received that honor twice in his career. If LeBron wanted to make the previous year not look like a fluke, he would have to strap a collection of role players on his back and carry them. LeBron was forced to do more than just log a lot of playing time. Every night he was called upon to score because his teammates weren't able to consistently do so. Appearing in 78 regular season games, James was the Cavs' leading scorer in 66, on his way to averaging 27.3 points per game, which was more than the team's second and third highest scorers combined.
So you heard that. They're painting the picture that LeBron James basically did it by himself. Those guys were a collection of bums. They were of little help. It's true, LeBron James was clearly the best player. He was the centerpiece of the team, no doubt about it. He was the system running the offense. However, when they had these records before LeBron got there, well, that was a very different team than the players that they had in 2007. Zydrunas Ilgauskas was there. That's about it. Anybody of note. Anderson Varejao was not there. He came a little later. Larry Hughes came in just the tail end of 2006, and he had some really nice games for them. And then you had players like Drew Gooden, turned up big for them, even in the finals. Him and Ilgauskas played well. They did. But I'm going to give you guys something very interesting. That Non-Stop video there made it sound like, oh, nobody could score the ball. They just couldn't do anything. Either LeBron scored or they lost. I'm going to compare what Cleveland Cavaliers did in 07. I'm just going to look at what would be considered for a role player, as they put it. Somebody who could get over 15 points in a game. Let's just look at that. Here we go. Put it up on the board. 2007 Cavaliers. Here's the guys who scored over 15 points in that playoff run. You got Larry Hughes in Game 1 against Washington, puts up 27 points. That's nice. Ilgauskas gets you 16 in Game 1 and Game 2. Larry Hughes in Game 2 gets you 19. Drew Gooden in Game 2 also gets you 24. That's three guys getting you over 15 points in one game. Pretty good. Now, I understand Washington was missing Arenas and Caron Butler. Not the toughest competition. I agree. Ilgauskas got you 24 in Game 3. Larry Hughes got you 19 in Game 4. Ilgauskas got you 20 in Game 4. So those guys are scoring just fine. Against New Jersey, Larry Hughes gets you 17 in Game 1. Sasha Pavlovich gets you 17 in Game 2. Larry Hughes in Game 3 gets you 23. He then gets you 19 in Game 4. Ilgauskas gets you 16 in Game 5. Drew Gooden gets you 16, and Danielle Marshall gets you 18 in Game 6 to close out the Nets in the semifinals. Then against Detroit in Game 1, and that would have been in Detroit, Ilgauskas got you 22 points. What's wrong with that? Game 3, Ilgauskas 16 points. Game 4, Drew Gooden gets you 19, and Daniel Gibson off the bench, 21 points. Not so bad. In Game 5, Ilgauskas gets you 16. That was the 48-point LeBron game. And then in Game 6, to close out Detroit, Daniel Gibson had the historic game. I just played that clip, so I wasn't going to play it again. 31 points in Game 6 to close it out. And in the finals, nobody played well against the Spurs, including LeBron. I think he averaged, 22 points a game on 35% shooting? Yeah, exactly. Larry Hughes was injured and didn't play much at all in the finals, and I think that ultimately really hurt them. He was a good player, very good player, coming over from the Wizards. Dude averaged Scottie Pippen's career highs in points per game and steals per game. People act like Larry Hughes is just some role player. No, he wasn't. He was getting 22 points and 2.9 steals per game. That's awesome. That's off the chart. He was first team all defense, won the steals title. He was an excellent player. He just never meshed well, like a lot of people don't with LeBron. Just didn't. He had his moments, had good games, but just didn't mesh well. But in the finals, the only guy who scored over 15 off the bench was Daniel Gibson, got him 16. That was every one of them. All told, in the 20 playoff games in that run, 22 times a teammate of LeBron's got over 15 points. And that was 6 different players. So this wasn't just 1 or 2 guys. 6 different guys were able to get you that. That's nice to have a threat from who knows where, right? Daniel Marshall, Sasa Pavlovic, Daniel Gibson. Those are bench players getting you nice games. That's awesome. Always an added bonus. But more importantly than the offense, look at the defense. And no one player could ever do this alone. The defensive rating for the 2007 Cavaliers was 4th. They were 5th in points per game allowed. Well, that's really good in my mind. So now I'm going to compare this to Michael Jordan. I looked up 3 specific playoff runs, all championship runs. But get a load of this. The 1993 Bulls. Here you go. Put it up on the board. The 93 Bulls and their 19 games played in that playoff run had 22 instances where a Michael Jordan teammate got over 15 points. That's the exact same as the 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers. But it was only 3 different players. It was Pippen, it was Horace Grant, it was B.J. Armstrong. I won't read them all off, but the marquee games, Pippen got 25 in Game 2 against Atlanta. Pippen got 28, Game 3 versus Cleveland. Pippen got 29 and then 28 and 24 in Games 3, 5, and 6 against New York. A lot of that had to do because they were doubling Jordan. Pippen actually had a lot of room to maneuver in that series. And then against Phoenix in Game 1, Pippen goes for 27. In Game 2, Horace Grant goes for 24. Pippen in Game 3 goes for 26. And then Pippen in Game 5 and 6 went for 22 and 23. But all told, it's pretty much the same as what LeBron had. No, I'm not comparing the 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers supporting cast to the 93 Bulls. Of course not. It's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that they're a lot better than what these people are trying to make it out to be. The Bulls in 93 defensive rating, they were 7th. They were 2nd in points per game allowed. But if you look at the points per game allowed, 98.9, where the 07 Cavaliers were 92.9. So they were actually allowing 6 less points than the 93 Bulls. I know, it's a different NBA. The tempo, the pace was higher. Teams were scoring more. Absolutely, I agree. The 97 Bulls, they also had played 19 games, 1 less than 2007 Cavaliers. 17 players scored over 15 points in the entire playoff run. Again, 3 different players. Pippen, Kukoc, and you got 1 random game from Bison Dele. Kind of like LeBron getting 1 from Daniel Marshall or getting 1 from Sasha Pavlovic. But the big games were Pippen in Game 1 in the semifinals against Atlanta got 29. The very next game in Game 2, he got 24. Game 4 against Atlanta, he got 26. Game 1 in the conference finals against Miami, he got 24. In Game 2, he got 23. And then against Utah in the finals, in Games 1 and 3, he scored 27 in each. And then in the closeout game in Game 6, Pippen got 23. but it's pretty similar to what LeBron was getting. It just was. The scoring was similar. The defensive rating for the 97 Bulls was 4th. That's the exact same as the 2007 Cavaliers, 4th. Points per game allowed, the 97 Bulls were 6th in the NBA at 92.3. Cleveland Cavaliers in 07 were 5th at 92.9. So they're allowing about the same points as the 97 Bulls were. They just were. Last but not least, the 96 Bulls. The 96 Bulls, again, also played 19 games in their championship run. But they only had 14 players get them over 15 points a game, a Michael Jordan teammate. And the only players who even got over 20 was Tony Kukoc. Game 1 against Miami got 21. In Game 2 against Miami, Pippen got 24. Game 3 against Miami, he got 22. Against New York in the semifinals in Game 3, Pippen got 24. Against Orlando in Game 3, Pippen got 27. In the finals in Game 1, Pippen got 21. And then in Game 2 against Seattle in the finals, he got 21. That's it. That's all there was. 7 games. 7 games over 20 or more points for a Michael Jordan teammate in that whole run. In the 2007 run, LeBron James got 8 20-plus point games from his teammate, including a 30-point game, which Jordan did not get. And again, I am not comparing the 07 Cavaliers to the Bulls. But what I'm showing you is that Michael Jordan didn't have this scoring supporting cast that people think he had. He didn't. He had about like the 07 Cavaliers. Look it up. And I'm not saying that the 07 Cavs were better than the Bulls. The NBA was just at a different time. The NBA was better in the 90s than it was in 07. How else could you explain the 07 Cavs were the 4th defensive rated team, but that's what the 97 Bulls were. Now the 96 Bulls, sure, they were the number 1 defensive rated team, number 3 in points per game allowed, but they allowed the exact same amount of points, 92.9. So basically, Michael Jordan in 1996 had less teammates getting him over 15 points, less teammates getting him 20 or more points, and the defensive rating might have been better, but the points per game allowed was the exact same as the 07 Cavaliers. So what's really different? Michael Jordan is what's different. But yes, all in all, the Bulls definitely had a better team, no doubt about it, a better supporting cast. But the 07 Cavaliers, they weren't the 1999 Golden State Warriors, just some bum trash team. These guys actually weren't that bad, especially defensively. And it's ridiculous. And I'm going to play you some clips here of these guys scoring the ball because they're getting beat up on. LeBron dragged a bunch of bums. It's a joke. Here you go. Check it out.
Open looks. Drew Gooden here. The hook goes, and LeBron said, "Oh, my guys had it going on. Z was playing well. Gooden was playing well. Hughes led the team in scoring. I only took 14 shots."
There is no one ever watched the game before Michael Jordan came along and think that that's the only way to win basketball games is have one guy score 40 points. I mean, what you're watching is team play. People complain about wanting to see team basketball. This for Cleveland tonight. This was a great exhibition of team ball.
Gooden, the O board, and the pass to Larry Hughes, who ends the first half in fine fashion. At 3, the Cavaliers had the lead, and in the fourth quarter we go. Big Z, 11 of his 16 in the fourth.
This is where you really saw Cleveland just slowly begin to take control past the
Barrett finishing off the Washington Wizards, who just flat, in my opinion, ran out of gas in this basketball game.
Dominate, Cavaliers up 3. 21-year-old Gibson off the screen for 2. Make it 3. LeBron fired up. Gibson, a career playoff high 21 points.
Both in the playoffs. His brother playing for the Utah Jazz. Actually, Collins' dad is Keith.
Meyer is off the mark with his comments about Bowen and Ginobili as well.
Nice tip by Larry Hughes inside. Ilgauskas and the Cavaliers with a chance to take the lead here. Hughes.
They're not sending Jason Kidd to the foul line.
Good. Here's Carter. Couldn't get it over Gooden, and Carter plows into the front row. Hughes on the break. Stab double team by Richard Jefferson is right on LeBron. Via NBA shoot-around. Hughes downtown. The Bay Area playing pickleball. It's no wonder that Steve Nash learned his defensive forward coverage. Larry Hughes.
I don't know. I saw some pretty impressive plays in there, especially from Larry Hughes. I'll put this last graphic up right here. The 93 Bulls played 19 games in the playoff run. They held 2 teams to under 85 points, no teams under 80. Okay, league was different, scoring more points, yada yada, to be expected. The 96 Bulls, also 19 games played, 7 opponents under 85 points, 3 under 80. And this is the 96 Bulls we're talking about. People have called them the best defensive team of all time. The 97 Bulls had 7 games where they allowed under 85 points and 4 games where they allowed under 80 points. All right. The 2007 Cavs, granted, they played one more game than those teams. They played 20 games. They had 10 games where they allowed under 85 points and 5 games where they allowed under 80 points in the playoffs. Maybe not as bad as what people are making them out to be. Defensively, they were actually a really good team. You know, Cleveland was the number 6 team to win the championship that year. They were planning on Miami to really do something. Of course, San Antonio was up there. Dallas was number 1, I believe. And I think Detroit was like number 4 or 5. So it really wasn't that big of a stretch for Cleveland to get to the finals. Once Miami was obviously done and got swept by the Bulls in the first round, and then they shipped Shaq out the next year. After that was over, it was the Pistons and Cavs. Yeah, absolutely. That was the only 2 teams that were any kind of decent. The only 2 50-win teams left in the conference. There just was nothing there, really. But I got this also. This is the ranks of the offenses that each team faced. The 93 Bulls faced the number 10, the number 3, the number 22, and the number 1 rated offenses in their run. So they were facing pretty good offenses. The 96 Bulls, the 23rd, the 21st, the 3rd, and the 8th. So only 2 of the top 20 offenses in 96. And yet still, they didn't have as many opponents scoring under 85 and 80 points as the 07 Cavs did. The 97 Bulls, number 2, number 12, number 8, number 13. So 2 of the top 11 offenses in the NBA is what they faced in their playoff run. Yet still, the 07 Cavs, 10 opponents under 85 points. That's half their playoff games. The team scoring under 85, and in a quarter of them, they're allowing under 80 points a game. The 2007 Cavs faced the number 4, the number 16, the number 6, and the number 5 offenses in the NBA. 3 of the top 6 offenses in the NBA Cleveland was facing, and still they held 10 teams half under 85 points and a quarter of them under 80 points. That's what I'm saying. They were facing higher ranked offenses and allowing less points than the Bulls were, the championship Bulls. Maybe the Cavs just weren't as bad as what people are saying. Is that even remotely possible? Maybe they weren't that bad. Yeah, they without LeBron James, sure. They're probably not even making the playoffs, maybe like a 30, 35 win team. If they had a healthy Larry Hughes, I think they probably do get in, though, maybe like an 8 seed or something like that. But they're not as bad as what people are saying. It wasn't just some collection of bums. Why couldn't they do it in 06? Why couldn't they do it in 08? Why couldn't LeBron get to the finals in 09 with a 66-win team? With Mo Williams now on the team. Or 2010, you had Shaq, you had Anton Jameson, you had Mo Williams, you had Varejao. That's actually a pretty good team right there. Why couldn't you get them to the finals? Why this specific team? Because maybe defensively they actually weren't that bad. And they would give you some offense on occasion. Guys unexpectedly, pop up. Ooh, had a good game. It happened. Daniel Gibson single-handedly got him into the finals. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've been giving daily content. And that's it. Until next time.